All right, welcome. My name is Nick Ford. I'm the station manager here at KLCZ 88.9 FM, and I'm just going to do a short tutorial on how to use Adobe Audition 3. This tutorial is just basically going to cover the basics, and so we're not going to go too deep into things, just how to record some voice and make a standard liner without any music for KLCZ. So to first start off, we're going to open Adobe Audition right here. It's located here on the desktop. There's also one down here in the taskbar, the toolbar. So we'll click on that. It'll open up real quick, and we'll go ahead and get started. So first off, before I start explaining everything, I'm going to start off by saying that there's 3 modes in Adobe Audition. There's 3 basic view modes is what they're called. And so first there's the edit view mode. And so this is what that looks like. And it shows all the files that we're working with. There's the we'll see the sound waves here. Down here in the bottom right, there's the view selection area. We can see how long our songs go for, etc. This is where we start recording down here in the bottom left. The next view mode is called multi-track view. We won't go over that in this tutorial, but I will talk about it in the later tutorials. Basically, what we can do is we can say, here's our audio. We're going to put some music under it, and then from there we can play both at the same time. We can adjust the levels, so on and so forth. The third view mode is called CD. This is where you can actually burn CDs and also rip CDs, but we won't be dealing with that in this tutorial. So to start off, go back to the edit view mode. That's right here. And we are going to start off by creating a new waveform. So if you do File, New, and for those of you who love hotkeys, Control N, this pop-up window will show up. It says New Waveform. These settings are great. 16-bit is what we're shooting for. Stereo channels, and 44,000 kilohertz is what that means. So make sure that that's set to 44,000, 44.1 actually, but whatever. You'll see this will open up, and if I hit record right now, it'll start recording. So I'll start off by showing you how that works. I'm just going to do a basic liner for our radio station here. So here we go. You're listening to 88.9 FM, KLCZ. We'll hit stop, and then we've got our basic liner. It's very, probably the most simple thing we can do here in Audition. So let's listen to this from the beginning. You're listening to 88.9 FM, KLCZ. Alright, and you'll notice that in the beginning we have a lot of dead air. So what we're going to do is with our mouse, we're just going to single click right where we want to cut out the rest. So what we're going to do is we're going to click and we're going to drag to the left, all the way to the left, and then hit the delete key. The delete key, or you can right click and hit cut. Either way works great. You'll notice here at the end I made a little clicking sound. You're going to want to make sure you cut that out too, any gross sounds. So do cut, or you can do delete, or pretty much anything else. I usually stick with the delete key on the keyboard. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of normalize the audio. That's a big thing about having a radio station, is when there's a lot of like quietness and you can't really hear what they're talking about. And so you'll notice here that it's a lot quieter than here. And so what I'm going to do about that is I'm going to click and I'm going to drag on the area that I want to make less loud. And then this little pop-up window shows up. So if I click off, it'll go away. If I click here, you can see it pop up. So we're going to listen to that. KL. And you can see it's kind of loud, so we're going to turn it down a little bit just so it matches with the rest of the audio. And then let's listen. You're listening to 88.9 FM, KLCZ. Sounds great. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to this effects palette right here. There's the Files tab, Effects, and if you go over there's Favorite, you can also scroll through them using this little bar right here. So if you click on Effects and you go to Normalize, well, first off, I should show you. It'll look like this. You go under Amplitude and Compression, and then click on Normalize. Double-click on that. Click. This pop-up window will show up, and you select Normalize to 90%. Excuse me. The rest of this is fine. You hit OK. You'll see it bumped up a little bit. So what we're going to want to do, we're going to want to adjust the volume of this right here. Bring that down a little bit to match the rest. We're going to normalize again. It'll bump it up a little bit more, and that's great. We're just trying to get the volume very equal, and it doesn't have to be like monotonous loud the whole time, and I know that can happen. So just make sure that you do your best to get it the loudest, but also maintain some emotion and some interest in the liner. So once we've done that, you'll see here that our file is not saved, and so what we're going to do, we're going to go File, Save As, and we're going to save it as a Windows PCM. And what you're going to do, you're going to go to your desktop, wherever folder you're working with. Usually there's going to be one called To Be Moved On Air. And so there's a folder called To Be Moved On Air, and I'll just make that really quick. You double click in there, and then you save your file in there. So for my liner, I'm going to call it Nick KLCZ Liner. And from there it's saved. If we minimize this and go to our desktop, here's that folder that I told you about, To Be Moved On Air. We go in there, you can see that there's this liner here, and you can also see that there is this Adobe Audition creates it's called a package file. So you can just delete that by right-clicking and deleting it, or you can drag it to the recycle bin, whatever works for you, hit delete key. And so now that this file is in this folder, the manager, whoever's in charge of adding liners on at the time, the music manager will go through this, they'll listen to the audio, and they'll see whether you're listening to 88.9 FM, KLCZ. And so that's great. It's really short. It's only about 3 seconds. Usually we shoot for 15-second liners or 30-second liners. We can do 60-second liners, but usually they're just kind of long and drawn out, kind of boring, and so we shoot for 15 and 30, and we try and do that very accurately. In my next tutorial, I will show you how to do exactly a 15-second liner, and so you're not doing these 3-second ones, you're doing 15, which is what we're shooting for. So I hope you guys learned the basics, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email address is at the website, www.klcz.com.